If you are unable to contain yourself emotionally and you're going to react in any way, be it in joy or in where, it will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that, members of the jury, again, I thank you for your service. I'm going to ask you return to the deliberation room. I'll be back there shortly with your
Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been signed by the courtroom.
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Journal seat number 1. Is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
CF 2603, State of Florida, CF 2603, State of Florida. CF 2603, State of Florida versus Sarah Boone. State, make your appearance for the record.
Chief Justice on behalf of the state, William Jenkins State.
Defense.
James Owens, Ms. Boone. Mr. Henderson is not going to be here.
Okay, all right. Ms. Boone is seated at counsel's table, wearing the same clothing from this morning. Yes, Mr. Beck.
Judge, they've got her in chains and they've got her in the ankle handcuffs, so she can't go anywhere. I'm just asking, we would like to rise during the jury coming in. I'm asking if there's any way we can take off the handcuffs and the waist chain so that the jury wouldn't see it in case there's something wrong with the verdict form or, there's an issue, which sometimes happens, but that's my position.
Okay. I've been advised by the sheriff that during the reading of the verdict, due to Ms. Boone's status as an inmate, their leg irons and the cuffs are to be attached.
She's going to stay seated.
That's fine.
Mr. Beck's going to stay seated.
I would ask for us all to remain seated, and could you remind everybody in the gallery that there should be no emotional reactions to the
I was
verdict?
just about to address that, sir. Thank you very much. All right, members of the jury, my understanding, or members of the gallery, good evening. My understanding is that the jury in this matter has reached a verdict. I don't know what it's going to be until it's read. If you are unable to contain yourself emotionally and you're going to react in any way, be it in joy or in sadness, I'm going to ask you politely to excuse yourself at this time. There cannot be any emotional outbursts when the verdict is read. Does everybody understand that? I see everybody nodding their heads. Okay. State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
Jury enter.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, sir.
All right, members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the state of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been signed by the foreperson.
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Juror seat number 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 2, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 3, is this your true
Yes,
and
it
correct
is.
verdict? Juror seat number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Members of our jury, again, I want to thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and your attention in this matter. I know that we spent almost 2 weeks together, and it was not taken lightly, and I really appreciate the time and the effort and the sacrifice that you put into this case. I want to advise you now of your final instruction. Members, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and your consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries,
Well, so a while ago, welcome guys. Thank you for coming in and joining us. And I have talked a whole bunch through this and had not added myself to the stream. This verdict came back so quick, guys. Maybe 30 minutes. It has not been that long. Like crazy fast. I was concerned that they were going to come back with the battered spouse defense and not find her guilty. But they saw through the BS, thank God, right? Now closure for his family. I feel for her little boy that has to go on with his mom in prison. That always breaks my heart, but there was clearly some problems here, even before she was with George. So we're definitely going to break some of this one down and talk more on this. So that gives us, out of 2 trials for the week, we got 2 guilty verdicts, and then we got a resentencing verdict passed down for the Menendez brothers. This has been a week in the true crime world, y'all. Like, super active week. Wow. I mean, these jurors didn't want to come back on Monday. I mean, they were supposed to, he had cleared it with the court for them to be there till 9 o'clock tonight or 10 o'clock tonight, something like that. Let's see what they're saying.
Mr. Owens, are you seeking that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. State, I will order the Department of Corrections to prepare the pre-sentencing investigation. State, for the purposes of sentencing, do you anticipate eliciting any testimony from, be it the victim's family?
2 or 3 victim impact statements, sir.
Okay. Mr. Owens, do you plan on presenting any evidence during the course of the sentencing hearing, sir?
Probably some testimony from Dr. Harper.
Okay. All right. How long do you think, State, that you would need?
You mean timing wise, or are we thinking?
A quantum of time, sir. Yeah, well, normally it takes about 30 days or so. I'm confirming with Anita as to availability. I just want to know from your side of the ledger, how much time? Okay, 15 minutes. How much time do you think you're going to need to produce anything from your side of the ledger, sir? Mr. Owens?
I'd say 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 to 45.
So if we set this for an hour, that would be sufficient.
Parties agree.
Okay.
State agrees.
Is that sufficient, Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay, all right, give me a moment. Ms. Barrios is checking. Just give us a moment. We can set this matter for 1:30 in the afternoon for sentencing on December 2. State, is that acceptable? It's a Monday.
I have a status hearing, but I'll make it work.
I can move it to later if necessary.
I'm co-counsel on it.
Okay. Defense. Yes, sir.
That's Monday, December 2 at 1:30.
Yes, sir.
I can be here.
Ma'am,
Matt?
you've been adjudicated guilty. I now remand you into the custody of the Orange County Jail pending sentencing on December 2 at 1:30. State, anything else we need to address?
Well, there we have it. There we have it. Wow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's play this interview. There was another interview today. Mini quick. I hope everybody's having a good Friday night. I don't usually get to go live this often, but man, I didn't want to miss any of these trials today. Do that while I find what it is I'm looking for. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, right here. Okay, here it is. Let's pull this up. Let's listen to this interview that took place earlier today with Jorge Torres's family.
Very special voices for the victim in the suitcase murder trial for Jorge Torres. Prosecutors say that he was murdered by his longtime girlfriend, Sarah Boone, who had him trapped inside of a suitcase, beat him, and left him to die. The defense is saying that Sarah Boone was acting in self-defense. Now, Jorge Torres' family is speaking out this morning, saying that he's being unfairly depicted as an abuser and that it was Sarah Boone who was the real aggressor. Now, since early in this case, we've seen evidence of Boone's problems with Torres' family.
To know what we're here, what we're investigating, and that they're going to think I killed him.
Why would they think that?
They always have said that. They've always have said that.
What have they
I told you it's because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me. Because they don't want him with me. So he's basically just not really been around his family because he chooses me over them.
I want to welcome in our special guests now. We have Jorge Torres' oldest daughter, Ana Victoria Torres, with us. We also have Dolores Ortiz with us, who is Jorge Torres' first wife, and she also brought with her this morning her youngest daughter, Destiny. First of all, my heart goes out to all of you, and for all of us here at Court TV, we are so sorry for your loss. Thank you for coming on the show, and I know that you really want to clear the air. And Ana Victoria, I know you've wanted to kind of be the family spokesperson, so I want to start with you, please. The way that your dad has been depicted as being an abuser in this trial, I know that it has upset you and you felt it's very unfair. Tell us why.
Story, and unfortunately we are the voices now. And
This, if you're just joining us, this is Jorge Torres' family, some of his family, his daughter and ex-wife, that did an interview earlier today.
and the way the trial has gone and the way things have taken place have nobody has ever contacted us to hear our story or ask us questions in regards to our father, his character, or the relationship between him and Sarah Boone. Me and my siblings actually spoke to our father that night And we have a lot of experiences with Ms. Boone that do not speak to what the media is stating she is, a victim or a gentle individual. I'm sure she's loved over there at jail due to the fact that Sarah Boone is very, very calculated. She by no means is a kind and sweet, soft-spoken woman. She is very calculated, very devious, very conniving. My father was sheltered and berated. He was kept from us. He was the real victim in this situation. Unfortunately, again, as stated, he is not here to tell his story, but we are here to give his side the best we can from the view that we were able to see things.
Sure. Anna Victoria, in one of the videos that we've all seen, Sarah Boone told police that George's family didn't like her and that they referred to her as the blue-eyed white dragon. Would you talk about where that nickname came from, and if it's true that you all didn't like her, and in particular, why?
I can definitely answer that. As far as the nickname is concerned, that was created all through Sarah's little brain. Other than that, she was definitely correct as far as us not liking her, and she should have stated that she didn't like us either, because that is very much correct as well. She, like I stated, is very evil, and what she is acting out there on the stand and within that courtroom is baffling to me, because that is not the real Sarah Boone at all. But yeah, she was correct. We don't like her. We didn't like her. That will never change. Unfortunately, I do feel bad for her and I wish her the best. But what I do wish is that my father receives his justice and she gets the time that she deserves. And a slap on the wrist is not it. Other than that, as far as a relationship with Sarah, one that was a good one, there wasn't one. We tried, we definitely tried, but she did not.
Anna Victoria, thank you for sharing all of that. I want to go to your mom now. Dolores, you were married to George for 14 years. I have three beautiful children with him. Two of them are here with us today, Destiny and Anna Victoria.
You know, I don't doubt from the evidence they showed with the pictures that he did abuse her at times, but I think she was very much an aggressor in and of her own self. You know what I mean? I do think alcohol played a huge role in everything going on between these two.
We understand that at one point, Sarah Boone tried to fight you. Tell us about that.
Not per se fight me, because we've only, I want to say that we've had one engagement, which was for my children's birthday party that they attended later in the evening. So I really have never had like a confrontation. It was made verbal over the phone. She had threatened me a couple times to come over and that she would dust her doormat for myself and my daughters. But it was basically verbal threats that she would give every time that George would call his children, any chance that he had, that he was able to call his children to speak, and I was present. It was a problem for George. She was very much jealous of me for what reason I'm not aware of, but we never had physical, altercations.
Well, and that's a very good thing. Tell us, Dolores, during your marriage to George, was he ever violent with you or any of your kids?
He was never violent with my children. We would have normal husband and wife family spats here and there, but never to the point where police were ever involved, DHS was ever involved. We were never that type of family. I can't relate to Sarah and the abuse that she so-called claims that she's received from George, because I never received abuse like that. I want to say the only thing that I can say about George is that he was a ladies' man.
Gotcha. Okay. And so just to be very clear here, did anything physical ever take place in terms of physical violence that he inflicted on you?
No.
Okay. And thank you for that. I know these are very personal questions, but we really want to get everything out here and get your side of all this, as everyone in the courtroom isn't hearing it. Destiny, we're so happy to have you here. You were a surprise this morning. We knew Anna Victoria was coming on and your mom, and we're so glad to see you too. What would you like to say about your dad, the kind of person that he was? What would you like the world to know about him?
My dad was an amazing person. He was my best friend. Nobody's perfect, but my dad was very loving. Everybody loved him back. He didn't deserve what happened to him. I don't think anybody deserves to die like that. I was 15 when it happened. I ended up being very depressed and going through suicidal thoughts and things of that nature.
Poor baby.
Yeah, we're just really trying to get my dad justice.
We know you are. We know you are. And Anna Victoria, back to you really quickly. You said that no one has reached out to you. Has the prosecutor's office reached out to your family?
As far as my father's mother, his father, his siblings are concerned, they have been communicated with due to the fact that they do live in Orlando. I live in Philadelphia, but nonetheless, I have communicated with the attorneys. The only thing I would say is I've never been contacted in regards to who my father was. I'm not sure if Sarah Boone deleted the calls or anything like that, but I'm sure those things were able to be, brought back up. But my siblings and I spoke to our father that night, and I do think that our encounter and what took place over the phone is very valuable to the case, as well as what their relationship was like and what Ms. Boone's plans may have been that night. Again, whether they have been premeditated or not, in my opinion, they very much were, due to the character of Sarah and all the experiences that we've had with her. But
what did your dad say on the phone?
If we were
Anna
contacted,
Victoria?
things could have been much better. So nothing in specific, but we talked on the phone for months at a time, every so often. I would say that I spoke to my father at
My heart, my heart breaks for the 15-year-old. I mean, to be so young and have to go through this, and to be, for the other children though, for being this far away from their dad when this happened and not being able to get there and not being able to be there in court, that's got to be devastating.
at least 3 times a week, maybe more. And we would stay on the phone as long as he possibly could stay on the phone with me, without Sarah getting agitated or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
I can't really put into words the way she would act.
Yeah. You all got to know a different Sarah Boone.
Just talk all
That's
the
for
time.
sure.
And my father that day seemed very uneasy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, we are so sorry for your loss.
Mm-hmm. They seem to be having trouble with the connection. There was a huge delay. So there we have it, guys. We've got 2 verdicts of guilty this week, and we have Menendez update. I mean, I guess Delphi is next, right? I guess I need to go start watching that trial. Kind of scared to. Wow, what a day. So if you're just joining us, Sarah Boone was found guilty in a very quick verdict. Super quick. Oh boy. Alrighty. Well, I'm out of here. It's Friday night. Go be with your families. Go have a good time. Be safe. I am going to put the TV on and chill with the pups and try to get my back to stop hurting. I've had an AS attack, and so I have been kind of down today in my back. I have an event tomorrow that I've canceled because there's just no way. But anyways, you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Make sure you hop over, give this video a thumbs up, and see y'all Monday.